the difference between rejection and acceptance. When everyone has amazing test scores and out-of-this-world extracurriculars, how do you stand out? Hey everyone, in this video, I'm reading the Common App essay that got me into an Ivy League school as an international student from India. I have over 25 drafts of this essay on my laptop, and I probably tried about 100 different topics before I figured out what I wanted to write. So if you're going through this, just keep persevering until you find the one topic that just feels right to you. I will be making a video called the Complete Common App Essay Guide to hopefully make the process a little bit easier for you, with everything from brainstorming with me to writing and final editing. So subscribe to stay tuned for that, and you can view it here when it's up. When I looked at my application, one half was about science classes and science extracurriculars, and the other half was about art and creative writing. So I decided that my Common App essay would be about how I like to combine these two things. It may seem a little unconventional, but uniqueness really goes a long way in college essays.
Schools don't want another Indian tryhard who's president of the Padded Resume Club.
What?
Colleges want kids with unusual stories. I had this kid. He got into a car crash. He was dead a full 30 seconds. He said God told him to go to Yale. It worked.
The best Common App essay advice I ever received was that if your essay was left on the floor of your school and someone picked it up, they could not possibly think that this essay applies to them. It has to be so unique and so specific to you. I like to think of this as a Venn diagram between your interests, your experiences, and your personality, and how you can best combine these to paint a picture of you that's extremely unique. I chose the first Common App prompt. Paragraph 1. Like Emily Dickinson, I dwell in possibility. I find it in the fine lines of connections between worlds, the overlap in a Venn diagram, the voice of the artist in images, the silent E in language. Paragraph 2. As a journalist and creative writer, I am no stranger to the beauty and power that words wield. Whether it's the infinite emotion behind the 4 characters of love, or the captivation of carefully crafted worlds of folklore, the artistry behind the medium of language never fails to amaze me. Yet, comprehending it fully is as much a scientific endeavor. Every silent letter, every sound, every symbol in language seems to obey a fundamental logic that I am compelled to figure out. Through finding connections to translate in unfamiliar languages and discerning their evolution using logic and pattern seeking, linguistics introduced me to how a computer can encode and analyze language mathematically. The intersection of computer science with language opened up an enchanting world of possibilities, which I explored from the National Computational Linguistics Olympiad to an ongoing project creating a program to automatically detect media bias. This is about my academic interest in combining art and science through a field known as linguistics. Here, I talk about how language is really artistic, but it's also really scientific and mathematical in the different ways in which I explored both dimensions. Paragraph 3. Art and science blend even outside the academic realm to create my lens for viewing challenges. When I set out to bring STEM education to students from low-income backgrounds, my scientific mindset guided the research, conducting interviews in underfunded schools, gaining experienced mentors' feedback, and carefully designing an outreach program covering a range of topics. However, as an artist, I looked for ways to connect with those I endeavored to impact. I began teaching science through storytelling about the natural world by presenting theories and demonstrating phenomena, encouraging learners to experiment and act out those theories for themselves. Joining forces with many volunteers, we reached more schools, using this combination to spark curiosity, inspire learners to see the beauty of science, and believe that they can make it their future. So this was a more real-world example of how I combined art and science through one of my biggest extracurriculars, which I talked about in my extracurriculars video. If you have a unique viewpoint or unique thought about anything under the sun, write that in your essay. It's a great way to show creativity and originality and stand out from the crowd. One of the best essays I've ever seen, which was accepted to Stanford, was about how this applicant thinks that her athletic sport is actually like strawberry yogurt. Another really unique essay that comes to mind, a great original thought that I saw in a Harvard essay, was about how fantasy fiction is actually very similar to physics because you're trying to figure out the logic of these very intricate, detailed worlds that exist. Paragraph 4. This fall, in human-computer interaction research, I found another intersection. We combine the world of technology and computing with social psychology to help support the field of education in certain communities. We were solving scientific puzzles, yet I perceived the process as artistic. In visual art, I often start with a subject, such as a social challenge, and try to interpret and represent it. I look at responses to my creation, ask questions, detail, and add layers until I create a piece that makes an impact. My work here mirrored this journey. Our research was a multidimensional puzzle to be solved by uniting multiple perspectives and disciplines. My passion was driven by my scientific curiosity and insatiable quest for answers, creativity, and purpose to create something like art that made an impact on the problem and the people our work centered on. This research project was at Cornell University. I've talked about this more in my cold emailing and extracurriculars video. My last 2 paragraphs. In all these connections, I find overwhelming possibility. In art, I represent reality in relation to our thoughts and interactions with the world, finding a platform for advocacy. In programming, I am intensely mathematical and logical, yet creativity inspires me to find new, more efficient algorithms. My aesthetic appreciation for worlds drives me to create art, but also inspires me to see beauty in scientific and programming systems. To me, these lines blur all around me as I view the world from these perspectives. My love of possibility and adventure in diving into different disciplines is an inherent part of me. One side of my room is covered in artwork and my favorite poetry. On the other side is a methodically organized workstation, books lined in order of height, yet the other, a chaotic jumble of papers and clothes. It reflects the spirit I take with me everywhere, blending my analytical, mathematical, yet passionate love for science with my artistic flair. I see myself in college and beyond, creating technology to tackle social issues, pushing the boundaries of what codes can do, all the while using my artistic storytelling for social activism and to forge connections. So here, I tied all my interests and my experiences back to my personality. I feel like it worked because I showed them a little bit about who I was. This anecdote about what my room at home looks like just adds a little bit of a personal touch to an essay that's very academic in nature. A lot of people do the standard thing where they take one of their biggest extracurriculars and describe them. I thought about that, but then I didn't do it because 1, I don't have any amazing out of this world extracurriculars, and 2, I feel like they learn a lot more about me if I take 3 separate experiences and talk about them a little bit in relation to this one broad topic of combining art and science. You can subscribe here to stay tuned for my Common App Essay Guide and my Common App Essay Checklist. I'll also be talking about examples of more successful essays and why they were so successful, and I'll also make a video about things that you shouldn't do, essays that are just really overused and stereotypical. So stick around for that. If you're a subscriber and you've liked this video and you'd like some help with your Common App essay, or you want some advice or brainstorming that's specific to you, you can email me in the link in the description and I will respond. Thank you for watching and have a great day, or a good night. You might be watching this at night. I wrote all of my Common App essays at 2 a.m. Not that I would recommend that to anyone, ever. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now.